Jennifer Piggott voted for Trump in the November election. Then in February, she was fired from her civil service job.
Right Along Live.
Folks, I am not surprised that we're starting to see more and more of these stories. The story that I'm about to play for you in a second. We're starting to see more and more of these stories coming out, day in and day out. People in the Black and Hispanic community that's starting to regret voting for Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump, who won his second term as president of the United States back in November 2024 and officially got sworn in January of 2025, became the 47th president of the United States. And in a lot of his campaign, he made a lot of promises. Now, a lot of people who saw Donald Trump first term automatically and already knew and understood what his second term would be like. I mean, when you look at his campaign, he shaped the tone for the type of president he would be in his second term. So off the bat, Donald Trump came out swinging. Executive order after executive order within his first couple days as president. It seems like Donald Trump has been picking a fight with everyone, or the administration, or the United States, for that matter. You know, we could see instantly there is this tariff war between Mexico and our goodly neighbor to the north, Canada. And we had excellent relationship with Canada. But it seems now the excellent relationship that we have in Canada, had with Canada, has tanked. Now there are trade wars, trade wars between Canada, Mexico, China, and all our major trading partners. Now, I continue to say, guys, that was just one of the things that we could have seen coming. And it's coming to pass right now. We're starting to see the relationship, the sour enough relations between the Caribbean region. And when some of us voted or some of us supported, I don't know if it wasn't clear enough that what happens in the United States would adversely affect the Caribbean region. So we're starting to see the Trump administration, the State Department, reaching out to Caribbean leaders and asking them to accept immigrants that are not even of their own country, right? Could you imagine that? A request to accept immigrant from the United States into your country, even though they're not of that particular region. They don't live there, they have no family ties there, they have no affiliation there. They're being requested. And recently, the State Department putting out a request to the Caribbean islands, to the region, that anyone that accept any kind of medical assistance from Cuba would be hit with various visas restriction.
Caribbean governments have begun receiving formal notification from the United States of its intention to sanction states and government officials which are facilitating Cuba's medical assistance program that has benefited most countries in the region.
Cuba is known to have some of the best healthcare providers in the world. Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Jamaica. Cuban doctors are inside of our Caribbean medical system. Gladly accepted throughout.
That I will prefer to lose my visa than to have 60 poor and working people die.
So what the State Department is saying, guys, is that if they call it exploit, the exploitation of Cuban doctors would be met with some sort of visa restrictions on the Caribbean.
The Cuban professionals who are here under the agreement with the Cuban government, they had to pay, I don't know if it's 10% or 15%, whatever it is, of their salary to the Cuban government. But that doesn't mean that they're exploited. They got a free education. And if they're going overseas making money from that education, it's not unreasonable for them to put back something in the kitty.
Now, there are many, many more. But those things, guys, are things that people could have seen coming. So a lot of people who voted for Trump, even in, as I said, in the black and Hispanic community, now starting to feel and regret their vote. But I'm saying, too late now, huh? Now, the video I'm about to play to you right now is someone who is now claiming that they regret voting for Trump. His administration right now, through the Department of Government Efficiency, Dodge, or whatever the case is, they are basically cleaning out workers, federal workers. Some are getting late notice, some are getting 2-day notice, some of them are getting immediate effect notice. And some people who voted for Trump are now getting fired as well in the process. Check out this video, guys. It further explains the chaos that is happening and the regret that some people are now having for the Trump administration. Listen in.
Voted for Trump in the November election. Then in February, she was fired from her civil service job.
Absolutely. I feel a little bit betrayed.
She was among more than 125 people dismissed last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
There's always that back and forth conversation now. It's like, you knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I...
Listen to me. Listen to me. You knew it was coming. If it has been affecting other people or other demographic, it suddenly will affect you. Now, you need to have that compassion that if someone else is feeling it yesterday, at some point in time, it will come on your door and you will feel it. You had no compassion when others was feeling it. No. Oh, no. You regret it. Let's hear more of the story.
that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives.
No kings, no tyrants, no kings, no tyrants.
The cuts have shaken up a community that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. He won West Virginia with 70% of the vote, one of his biggest victories. But the betrayal felt by Pigott, a church-going conservative and three-time Trump voter, comes as political analysts are examining early signs of a possible backlash in Republican strongholds like Parkersburg, where the government-slashing efforts of Trump and Doge are beginning to hit home.
Elon Musk has basically taken over our government and has calling the shots, unfortunately, it seems to be.
A handful of Republican voters who lost their federal jobs joined Democrats at a recent anti-Doge protest near the Bureau of Fiscal Service offices in Parkersburg. But the federal job losses in the state could soon extend beyond the BFS building, says West Virginia University economics professor John Deskins.
West Virginia is at the very top of the states in terms of the federal workforce as a share of total workforce in the state. So if the federal layoffs happen, if they hit West Virginia, we stand to suffer a disproportionate share when those jobs disappear, when that income disappears, when that spending leaves the state economy.
But in Reuters interviews with 36 workers, business owners, and politicians in Parkersburg, nearly all said that Trump's focus on cutting government spending was a worthy goal. And Reuters Ipsos polling shows Americans' attitude toward Trump are so far essentially unchanged since he began firing federal workers in February. As of this week, his approval rating was holding steady at 44%.
Cutting costs and waste and fraud and. We love that big picture. I love that big picture. My friends, we were excited about that because it is true. But again, I can't help but go back to the fact that what is the decisions that you're making right now solving in the big picture? It just... So the concept of voting for that again, voting for Elon Musk essentially to wreck people's lives, I can't do it.
The economic impact of the mass dismissals across America may not be immediately felt. So far, 100,000 government workers have been fired or taken a buyout. Parkersburg is bracing for another round of layoffs, with all government agencies ordered to make plans to cut career staff by March 13th.
So it's all good when it's not happening to you. It's all good when he's calling other people names, disrespecting other people, taking away lifestyle from other people. But as soon as it starts to hit you, then it's not good. That's pretty interesting. So finally, some people started to feel the effects. Now, all of a sudden, it is not fair. Well, it's sad to say, guys, but it's too late. It's too late. It is what it is right now. And the truth about it is, I think it would only get worse from here. Give us your thoughts, give us your views on this topic.
Right Along Live.